Starlight Music Academy. Yeah.
Well, I've been down and out for 7 days.
Goes behind them. And so basically from 2004, released their first album, It's Not a Rumor, released the second album in 2007 called Freedom That's Soon, 2010, the third album, Double Think, working on a fourth album at the moment. We launched an education company called Hip Hop Shakespeare. We've actually got a show with young people at the Barbican on Sunday the 4th. It's free, totally free, at 6 o'clock. So come down, you get a sense of what Hip Hop Shakespeare is and what it does and what it's about. And so that, again, that's something that sort of we've... I had an interesting experience at school. Because from very young, I felt like I was smart, and I suppose I was ahead of the curve in terms of reading and those kind of things. But for some reason or other, my teachers weren't too over the moon about that. And so I got put in special needs group with kids that didn't speak English and all this kind of stuff. And so my experience, I did well in school in the end. I went to a Royal Institution, mathematics master classes. Didn't grow up with my dad, you know, same old, we can tick all the bad boxes as well, you know, etc., etc. But the reality is in school I ended up doing really, really well, got straight A's despite the madness. But I felt like my interaction with school wasn't positive. And I felt like teachers tried to occupy this kind of place of authority towards us and tell us what to do rather than engage with us and help us educate ourselves. And I felt like one of the main symbols of that was Shakespeare. You know, like Shakespeare was held up as this guy that was just like, you can't possibly be clever enough to understand Shakespeare, you know. It's really just way beyond your capability, you know. And it was weird because I'm 28, right? I grew up listening to Wu-Tang. Any Wu-Tang fans in the house? Okay. So anyone who's listened to a Wu-Tang record knows that Wu-Tang's language is very, I don't want to say Shakespearean, I would rather say metaphoric. Wu-Tang's language is very complex. If I wrote it out and I asked you to decipher what RZA is saying on Impossible, you'd probably say, I ain't got a clue. Right? So I never bought that. Oh, Shakespeare's too difficult, because I was listening to this kind of brand of hip-hop that was real, deep, philosophical hip-hop. And so I suppose that's part of what inspired this concept. It's just an idea we had to compare these two things. And within a couple of years, I mean, Sir Ian McKellen came to our first workshop, and it's something that if you generate an idea and it resonates with people, you'll be surprised at the reaction you get. But it's about confidence. It's about not feeling, I suppose, that you've got to conform to what's expected. I find actually that the harder you try to conform, the more people see that coming. And you're like, whatever, I don't need you, though. Exactly like Esther said, you need me, so this is how I'm going to move. I will go to meetings with my picket dressed like this, and not business. But when my mouth opens, I know what I'm talking about, and therefore, this doesn't matter no more. It's irrelevant. And we get caught up so much of the time, we're thinking we've got to look a certain way or sound a certain way, you know, to be acceptable in particular rules. And actually, if you just know your stuff and you've read enough, not just on your own background, but on other people's background, and you can connect with people, and you've got a wide knowledge base, you'll find that, yeah, prejudices exist, there's no doubt about it, and I'm not going to ever ignore and say that isn't an issue. What I'm saying is, the more tools you can have in your arsenal to equip yourself to lick them down, the better you're putting yourself in a position. I'll give you one example I gave this morning. One of my best friends is a trauma surgeon, right? He doesn't look that similar to me, he's a lot stockier, but similar complexion, similar build. As you can imagine, he's got quite a nice car. And you know, police see him and they can't vision that he's a trauma surgeon. For them, he must be a drug dealer, right? Now, I get pulled over too. My nephew's first experience with the police is his uncle getting pulled over by the police. Now, the difference is what happens, they pull us over and they end up feeling stupid. Because rather than get angry and switch on them and say, which I want to do, and I used to do, they ask me what I do for a living, and sometimes I just rant with them, because I know they won't know what it means, right? So I just say, they say, what do you do for a living? And I look at them dead serious, like this. And I say, I teach quantum particle theory at university. Just dead face, like, bang, like. But why am I putting that out? And then they won't search me after that. They're like, oh, they don't know what to do, they're all nervous, like, what are we doing here? The funny thing is, I tried telling them that I teach Shakespeare, which I actually do, and they didn't believe me, right? They was like, they weren't having it, right? So I thought, let me try something so outlandish that they'll believe me. So I did that, right? And what my point is about this is that your ability to communicate. A lot of the time we're encouraged to sound a certain way, to talk a certain way. Someone sells you the idea that being uneducated is cool. Whoever sells you that is your enemy. Your enemy, right? There's a reason why when people are oppressed, and that happened here, not just in the Caribbean and places where people were, what we're taught is traditional slavery, but even here, education was kept away from certain groups of people. There's a reason for that. Because education makes you stand a certain way, makes you sure a certain way. And so when the police pull me over or pull my brethren over and we talk to them in a particular way, they just back off. And I'm not saying that will always happen, I'm just saying equip yourself. And the barriers are there, but they're not as fixed as you think. Do you know what I mean? They're traversable, but you've got to give yourself those skills and just with music, it's my like kind of last point with music. I'm sort of going off on a tangent, but with the music industry, be yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pressure, particularly in hip hop, to conform, to be like everyone else. But I'll be honest with you, everyone else who's being like everyone else, 2 years from now, they're not going to be nowhere. They might look really great now, you know, and that's fine. I'm not knocking it. Get your money, do your thing. But I promise you, since I've come out in 2004, I've seen a bagger man get deals, get dropped. Get deals, get dropped. Be big, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that we've seen that doesn't work. So it's time to try something different and build an actual scene that has longevity. And even if you look at hip hop, what originally gave hip hop the credibility so that these pop artists could come out was what? Public Enemy, NWA, all this kind of social commentary, The Last Poets, Gil Scott-Heron, all this real stuff that was community-led is what even gave hip hop any sort of economic base to begin with. Does that make sense? And so it's almost like in England, we want to skip past all of what America had to do, 100 years of really solid music from quote-unquote the hood, and we want to go straight to the pop element. And so I would say for any young aspiring music artist, study, learn to play an instrument. If you're an MC and you can rap and play piano as well, puts you in a whole new category now. Now adults buy your music, kids don't buy music, it's a myth. Any music that, no, it's true, any music that appeal, over 40%, the head of Universal told me this, over 40% of the records in this country are bought by people over 50. So not even just adults, over 40%, 4 out of 10 records are bought by people over 50. So immediately if you make a kind of music that's really cheesy and only appeals to kids, no offense kids, like really young kids, but if you're 10, Mr. Bloggy's funny, right? You're immediately cutting off your chances of having a long fan base. And so by learning instruments, by doing all these things we're told we're not supposed to do, in the long term, you might be like Ornette Coleman. Ornette Coleman's in his 80s and he's still getting paid. He can do what he did in London, in Paris, in New York, in all these other places. So I would just say to young people, study and study all kinds of music. Don't let no one keep you in a box and tell you, you're from this area, you look like this, therefore you must rap about this, or you must play that instrument, you must do that. You know, I don't see an awful lot of rock bands coming from quote-unquote the hood no more, but where did rock come from to begin with? Anyone heard of Bo Diddley in the house? Yeah. If you haven't, I suggest you look him up. Anyone heard of Chuck Berry? Yeah. Anyone heard of Memphis Minnie? Yeah. These are the older ones. See, a lot with the electric guitar playing, what doesn't get talking about, the originals wasn't even African-American men, it was women. It was a woman called Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Memphis Minnie. Look those two people up. I mean, we're talking 1930s, these people were solo blues guitaring, 30, 40 years before the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, etc. Who openly cited these people as their influence. So my point is, don't ever let no one tell you that there's a box and you have to stay in it. The most rebellious thing you can do is rebel against that box. Get out of it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.